of the Eclectic Banjo. The goal of a banjo player's guide to music theory is to educate the banjo player on musical concepts in order to better understand their instrument and the music that they play. I'm a fingerstyle banjo picker, and my compatriot Danny is a frailer, and together we hope to cover all the bases of this endeavor on the banjo in bite-sized lessons, so you'll definitely want to click that subscribe button so you don't miss out. Before we dive into the new material, can anyone tell me what musical notes are? Notes are symbols that represent a type of sound that contains both pitch and duration. Someone was taking notes. That's right, Danny. Now can you tell me what these notes are? Easy. G, G sharp or A flat, A sharp or B flat, B, C sharp or D flat, D sharp or E flat, E, F, and F sharp or G flat. And for extra credit, why do some notes have sharp and flat counterparts? It depends on what key you're in. In the key of G major, F sharp should not be called G flat because then there would be two kinds of G notes, which would be really confusing to read on a music staff. 3 for 3, bro. You've heard the term low pitch or high pitch, right? Oh, I hate high pitches. They're so hard to hit. This isn't baseball. This is banjo. Pitch is a quality of a note that describes how low or how high it is. Every unique note on the banjo has its own pitch. Duplicate notes that you can find on different strings have the same pitch. When a key or scale is listed, its notes are in order from lowest pitch to highest. Let's listen to the G major scale. Pitch can be represented by lower and uppercase notes too, such as for an instrument's tuning. For standard G tuning on the banjo, tuning can sometimes be written as lowercase g for the 5th string, uppercase D for the 4th, uppercase G for the 3rd, uppercase B for the 2nd, and lowercase d for the 1st. The lowercase notes are one pitch higher than their uppercase counterparts. You know what would really help me out? If you could hit that like button.
The like button?
Just click the subscribe button instead.
I definitely don't have that anywhere.
Could you just share this video with a friend at least?
I live alone. There's a tiny thumbs down icon.
Another useful term related to pitch is the octave. A note's octave, such as the 3rd string G and the 5th string G, is one pitch apart from each other. The higher pitch G is twice the frequency of its lower G counterpart, and its wavelength would appear half as long per interval. Will this be on the test? Recall that there are 12 notes in music, and on the banjo's fretboard, each note is represented by one fret position. So if you started at an open note, which is effectively fret 0 at the nut, and you played a note at every single fret, how far would you need to go to arrive at the next highest pitch of that open note? Or asked another way, what's 0 plus 12? Let's hear some 12-fret octave notes. The open note D on the 1st string, and its 12th fret octave. The open note B on the 2nd string, and its octave. Open note G on the 3rd string, and its octave. 4th string. And for the 5th string, since it technically starts at fret number 5, its octave is at fret 17. Octaves can appear in other locations on the fretboard as well, such as on different strings. It's important to note that octaves will sound resolutely harmonic when both notes are played at the same time, such as the 1st string D and the 4th string D, assuming that both strings are perfectly in tune. The 3rd string G and the 5th string G are another example. Knowing the note at any given position on the fretboard will help considerably in locating octaves. More on knowing where all the notes are on the fretboard in the next lesson. Another key to finding octaves is knowing the interval of each string in relation to one another. For example, between the open 4th string D and open 3rd string G is a perfect 4th interval. I'll get into intervals in a future lesson, but for this lesson, that basically means that the same pitch of G that's on the open 3rd string is also on the 4th string 5th fret in standard G tuning. Now add 12 frets to the 4th string 5th fret, and we arrive at another octave to the 3rd string G at the 17th fret 4th string. 4th string, 17th fret. So Banjo Dan, how many total octaves are there on the banjo? Ah, great question, Frail and Danny. It depends on what tuning you're in. I played a lot of classical and old-timey music, and so concert tuning is actually my default tuning, which lowers the fourth string to C. From the fourth string open to the second string first fret C is 1 octave. From the second string first fret C to the first string 10th fret C is another octave. And from the first string 10th fret C all the way up to the first string 22nd fret C is a third octave. So 3 octaves total in concert tuning. Now if your fourth string is tuned to D, you'll have 2 octaves and a perfect sixth. Banjo Dan, how am I supposed to keep all these different octaves straight? Glad you asked, Frail and Danny. Along with octaves are octave reference numbers. Let's look at an 88-key piano for this example. Looking at the piano's keyboard, we can see that all 12 notes in music, starting with a low C on the left-hand side, are repeated over and over again at progressively higher pitches on the piano. There are a total of 7 of these 12-note octave groupings on the piano, and each note within a group can be referred to their octave number along with their note. For instance, middle C is a useful reference point in relation to other instruments. In octave reference format, it is called C4. Octave reference numbers are really useful in describing pitch, so I'll be using them whenever possible from here on out. In octave reference number format, the banjo is tuned to G4, D3, G3, B3, and D4. The lower the octave reference number, the lower the pitch. And in our octaves on the banjo discussion from earlier, the banjo's 3 octaves in concert tuning is from C3 on the 4th string all the way up to C6 on the 1st string 22nd fret. Well, that about wraps it up for this lesson. If you think of certain things I didn't cover, feel free to leave me a comment down below. If you'd like to continue this journey with us, feel free to click that subscribe button so that you can be notified whenever I post a new video. On behalf of Danny and myself, we'll see you next time here at the Eclectic Banjo.